Hey YouTube, welcome back to AFK Archives. Today we've got two crazy stories lined up for you, so make yourself comfortable, sit back, and let's dive right in. Let me take you back about 10 years. I was working at Walmart, which, if you've ever done it, you already know is a circus of its own. But in this circus, my coworker and I were the clowns. The weirdest clowns. Now, we never said it out loud, but I swear the two of us were in an ongoing, silent battle to out-weird each other. We wore fake name tags with ridiculous names like Captain Fudge and Sir Lick-a-Lot, and we regularly misused the store's intercom system. Like one time we made a fake announcement paging Mr. Pickle to the garden center. And somehow, we never got written up, probably because we were actually pretty solid workers. But outside of that, complete agents of chaos. Then came the infamous break room bet, the event that would go down in Walmart employee legend. We were on break, as usual, trying to one-up each other's weirdness. That's when we spotted the vending machine cinnamon rolls. You know the ones. Dense, dry, the kind of snack that dares you to call it food. And for whatever reason, we decided that it was time to escalate our nonsense into an eating race. But not just any eating race, oh no. We were going to eat one of those heavy cinnamon rolls and chase it with a full cup of thick maple syrup. Yeah, you already know where this is going. So we gathered a small crowd. People from different departments came in just to watch this insanity unfold. It was like a low-budget underground Walmart fight club, but the only things getting hurt were our stomachs, and as it turns out, my airway. We sat across from each other, cinnamon rolls and syrup in hand. Someone counted down. 3, 2, 1, go! Now here's where things went off the rails immediately. Before I could even unwrap my cinnamon roll, literally, I was still struggling with the plastic. This guy had already slammed his cup of syrup like it was a shot of tequila. I looked up in disbelief and asked, "How the hell did you do that?" Dead serious. He looks at me and goes, "I just swallowed it whole." No chewing, no pacing himself, just Gulpsville. That dude was built different. Of course, my pride couldn't handle that. I demanded a rematch. I even marched back to the vending machine and bought him another cinnamon roll out of my own wallet. This time, I was gonna win. The crowd was hyped now. Word had spread, and more employees were gathering around. It felt like a sporting event. Someone yelled, "Round 2," and again we were off. Fueled by nothing but ego and syrup fumes, I stuffed the entire cinnamon roll into the back of my mouth like some kind of competitive eater, then reached for the syrup and went for the win. But that's when everything went terribly wrong. See, I didn't actually swallow the cinnamon roll. I inhaled it, straight down my esophagus like a rogue piece of sawdust. Suddenly, I couldn't breathe. I was choking, hard. At first, everyone was still laughing. They thought I was putting on a show. Until I stood up so fast, I knocked over one side of the table, high-kicked it into oblivion, and sent about 4 people's lunches flying across the floor like a food explosion. Now people started realizing something was wrong. "Dude, she's choking," someone finally said. No kidding, Sherlock. I was flailing my arms, pointing to my throat, doing the universal sign for, "Help me, I'm dying," and everyone just froze. I heard someone yell, "Does anyone know the Heimlich?" But no one stepped up. It was like a crowd of stunned mannequins just watching me slowly glitch out of existence. Panicking, I started punching myself in the chest. Then, in a moment of pure fight or flight survival instinct, I sprinted toward the counter and slammed my ribs against it. Not once, repeatedly. It looked like I was trying to body slam my way out of choking. I grabbed the sink, braced myself, and launched my torso into the edge like I was trying to break through it. On the third slam, something gave way, not the counter, me. Like a human cannon, I spun around and projectile launched the cinnamon roll out of my throat. It hit the floor with a splatter so wet and dramatic it could have been sound designed by a horror movie editor. It looked like someone had thrown a cinnamon snowball at the linoleum. I collapsed to the ground, gasping for air like I'd just been resurrected from the dead. The room was silent. Then, my coworker, this absolute savage, leaned over me and said with a grin, "You totally lost." Bro, I almost died, and he was still worried about the scoreboard. After that chaos, the break room incident was the talk of the entire store for weeks. Everyone remembered the moment I high-kicked a table, launched a cinnamon projectile, and body slammed my way back to life like some kind of syrup-fueled action hero. Moral of the story? Never, and I mean never, do food challenges with someone who casually swallows syrup like it's Gatorade. Oh, and maybe take a first aid course, because apparently no one in retail knows the Heimlich. Things are just getting started. On to the next crazy story. Never again will I participate in an eating contest at work, especially when it involves pizza that tastes like cardboard and regret. This happened around 7 years ago when I was working at a soul-sucking call center. You know the kind. Dim lighting, gray cubicles, headsets that smelled like sadness, and a break room microwave that had seen horrors no one could explain. The morale was non-existent, and people were quitting left and right. So management, in their infinite wisdom, decided to plan a fun Friday to boost team spirit. Now, you might think team-building activities mean light games, maybe a raffle or pizza party. But no, our boss, Deborah, decided to spice things up with a pizza eating contest. Winner gets a $10 Amazon gift card and a plastic gold trophy with Top Eater engraved in Comic Sans. Absolutely not worth it. But did I still join? Of course I did. There were 5 of us competing, but everyone knew it was going to come down to me and Jeff from HR. Jeff was an ex-college wrestler who worked out during lunch breaks and bragged about once eating an entire rotisserie chicken in his car. He also had this scary calmness, like he trained for things like this. The rules were simple. Finish a whole medium cheese pizza. No drinks allowed until you're completely done. You puke, you're out. The whole call center gathered around for this like it was the Super Bowl. Someone even printed out fake betting sheets. The timer started. Everyone cheered. I went in with confidence. Slice 1, easy. A little chewy, but manageable. Slice 2, starting to notice the cheese is way too hot. Slice 3, uh-oh. Cheese is fusing to the roof of my mouth like molten lava. Meanwhile, Jeff is halfway through his box like it's nothing, folding slices like a New Yorker and going full food blender on them. I tried to match his speed, but the 3rd slice betrayed me. I took a huge bite and instantly regretted it. The cheese was nuclear. I choked a little and tried to cough it out, but instead, I launched a chunk across the room like a pizza shuriken. And where did it land? Right on Deborah's face. Mid-cheer. Glasses off. Sauce on her blouse. It hit her like a greasy comet. Everyone froze. There was a full 5 seconds of silence before someone in the back went, "Yo, he really just pizza sniped Deborah." Then came the laughter. Absolute chaos. Phones came out. People were recording. I'm trying to breathe, but I'm actually choking now. My eyes are watering. I'm flailing. I stand up, trying to clear my throat, but the crust is lodged, and no one's helping. Not even Jeff, who's still focused on his pizza like we're in the finals of a professional sport. Someone yells, "He's choking!" Another person, "Someone do the Heimlich!" But instead of doing anything, everyone just kind of stood there in panic like Sims when a fire starts. So I did the only thing my brain could come up with. I body slammed myself into the vending machine. Not once, but 3 times. Soda cans rattled, the lights flickered, and then, pow! A chunk of pizza blasted out of my mouth, hit the floor, and slid under the break room table like a hockey puck. I collapsed into a chair, gasping like I'd just run a marathon underwater. Silence again. Then Jeff, wiping his mouth with a napkin, calmly looks over and says, "You totally lost, man." Bruh. But it gets worse. Because as I tried to recover from the most embarrassing moment of my life, someone in the crowd goes, "Yo, did he just break the vending machine?" And sure enough, I had cracked the glass panel and knocked a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos loose. I was now both the guy who choked during a pizza contest and the reason the vending machine was out of order for a month. Later that day, I had to write an incident report for HR. And guess who took it? Yep, Jeff. He had the nerve to ask, "How do I classify death by pizza on this form?" The worst part? That Amazon gift card. They still gave it to Jeff. And a trophy. He displayed it in his cubicle like it was an Olympic medal. The video of me pizza missiling Deborah's face ended up on Slack, then in a company newsletter, then somehow on a TikTok account dedicated to office fails. Over 1.2 million views. To this day, people still ask me, "Hey, aren't you the guy who did the Heimlich on himself with a vending machine?" Yes, I am. So yeah, moral of the story? Never join a food contest at work. Never challenge Jeff from HR. And for the love of God, let the pizza cool down first. If you're still here, thanks for watching. I've got tons more insane stories coming. So hit that sub, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious.